Hi guys, and welcome to the second lesson looking at our case study on Nigeria. What I'd like you to do to start with is make sure you get your books closed, plain piece of paper, and I would like you to draw the Nigeria image from last lesson. Let's see how much you can remember. Pause the video, get as much down as you can, then we'll see what you got. Okay, then give yourselves a point for every bit you did. We've got the 3% of the global oil reserves. We've got the 5th biggest contributor to United Nations peacekeeping forces and the largest agricultural producer in Africa. We've got the outline of the country. We've got Lagos and Abuja, the capital and the biggest city. And we've got the Niger Delta and the River Niger. We've got the independence from the UK in 1970, 1960, followed by the years of conflict from 67 to 70, then the corrupt governments from 70 on to 99, and then the fact it's been stable since 1999. Also, we've got the changing employment structure where we've moved in the 75 from predominantly primary to a much more tertiary based employment structure by 2014, and the factory with the money coming from taxes and oils and petrochemical products. So today we are looking at the role of transnational corporations, TNCs, in relation to industrial development, the advantages and disadvantages of TNCs to the host country. So we are going to identify the role, describe the impacts, and possibly even assess the role if we are a 7 to 9 student. What I'd like you to do now, have a look at the exam question that's on the screen, looking at bicycle ambulances. I'd like you to state 2 challenges faced by the people living in the area described in figure 7. Okay, be careful with the question, it is asking for 2 challenges. So pause the video, write them down, and then we shall go through some answers. Okay, so you only needed 2. I'm going to put more than 2 up, but we'll look at the options. One of the challenges is lack of transport. We've got the fact that the transport there is expensive and slow. There is only limited healthcare. High number of people per clinic or per doctor. Have to travel a vast distance to see a nurse or doctor. And 1 in 6 women die in childbirth. So, TNCs, what are they? What does TNC stand for? Have a look at this picture. So, TNCs are transnational corporations. They are companies which are global. They normally have their headquarters in one country and factories and production plants in another. Companies like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nike, some of the biggest ones. Think about, and what we're going to think about is how they will benefit the host country. The host country is the country that has got the factories based in them. The home country is the country that's got the headquarters and that the company started in. So if you've got the worksheet, you've got plenty of space now. You can fill in these gaps and complete this part of the sheet. If you don't have the worksheet to do the missing words, just carry on and get the definition of transnational corporations down. Pause this presentation, and then we've got 2 videos to look at. Links are below in the description on YouTube. Links are also on Show My Homework. I want you to watch those 2 videos. Then if you've got access to the worksheet, fill in the missing words. Video 1 should look like this, looking at Shell companies in Nigeria. This is a promotional video from Shell, so do be a bit careful with the content because obviously it's trying to sell Shell as a positive. And then the other one is looking at how oil exploitation has impacted Nigeria. This is part of the Ross Kemp Extreme World Series. Well worth seeing if you can find a copy and having a look at the rest of these documentaries as well. But this is just a short 5-minute clip. So pause the video, have a look at those 2 videos, and then come back in. So what I'd like you to do is sort the advantages and disadvantages of TNCs from this list. So for each one, is it an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? If you've got the worksheet, these are on there for you. If not, you will have to write them out. Challenge, think about what the most important advantage is and why, and the most important and why. So just pause and have a go at that. Right, let's see how you guys got on with your answers. So TNCs pay tax that can be invested in infrastructure and education. That is, of course, an advantage. It gets employment for Nigerians, people in the local area. Another advantage. Management jobs and higher paid jobs don't go to Nigerians. That would be a disadvantage. They go to, generally speaking, people from the home country. The TNC investing in community projects is an advantage. A negative would be much of the profit goes back to the home country. A negative would be local workers, often poorly paid, working conditions can be poor. A positive would be other companies develop from increased orders, because by having that company there, it creates work for other companies. And quite often they will have a negative impact on the environment. So see if you've got those right, make sure you've got those down before you move on. Now, let's say you were doing this as an exam question and you had this idea of list advantages for a case study or disadvantages, and you put things like these in. Now, what you've got to remember is that this is not place specific, is it? This is geography of anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it case study specific. So if you've got the worksheet, you'll find there's a line now to add in a case study specific information. And we'll go through those answers in a second. Bit of a challenge. Read the Unilever information on the textbook page that I've put in Show My Homework as a link for you. And think about which company a Nigerian would prefer to work for and why. And how is Unilever linked to Shell and oil. So make it case study specific. This is your level 2 and level 3 on an exam question. So pause the video now and do that. Now, let's have a look at what we could have put. So, employment for Nigerians. We could have put Shell Oil provides 65,000 jobs, place specific. Other companies develop from increased orders. Shell Oil has 250,000 indirect jobs in related industries. Negative impact on the environment. Oil spills have massively reduced fishing yields in the Niger Delta. TNCs pay tax that can be invested in infrastructure and education. 6.34 billion to the Nigerian government. TNCs can invest in community projects. Shell product development built health clinics. Okay, make sure you've got those down. Pause the video if you need to before you move on. So now what I want you to do is add this to your original Nigeria images. That is, believe it or not, the Shell logo. You need to get the facts down around it. 4.32 billion, that's the tax income. 65,000, that's the direct jobs. 250,000 is the indirect jobs. You might want to add something to show that they're direct and indirect. You've got the dead fish for the pollution in the Niger Delta, and the syringe, which is there to show the idea of the health clinics. So add that onto your image and it should look something like this. So get that done, pause the video, get it done, and then come back to me for the last part of the lesson. Okay, here is an example of a real exam question, or two possible questions. One, using a case study of an LIC or NEE country. Explain the link between transnational corporations and industrial development in the country. Or you could get a question like transnational corporations, TNCs, only bring advantages to the host country. Do you agree? Yes, no, and then justify your decision. Two examples of the types of question you could get about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through a question. Now, those of you that have got the worksheet will have the template for this. Those of you who haven't been able to download the template I am going to show on the next slide, so you can just work on paper as you are. So we want to evaluate the effect of transnational corporations or TNCs on the development of an LIC or NEE that you have studied. A 9-mark question. I'm looking for 3 points with evidence and explanations and a link. So this is our Peel structure, and also our explanation is our dev. That's where we are developing our point. So I've done the first one for you in this example. I want you to come up with 2 more. So, Shell has provided many jobs for Nigerians. That's my point. My evidence, 65,000 jobs have been created directly by Shell in the Niger Delta. I'm then going to go on and explain that. So, this is my so what rule. My evidence, the jobs have been created in the Niger Delta. So what? So, people can earn a greater wage, as 60% of Nigerians live on less than $1 a day. So that would greatly improve the quality of life, and they could buy better food, therefore improve their diet, and then accelerate their life expectancy or increase their life expectancy. So there's a couple of extra so whats and devs in there. Then we need to link back to the question. So this shows that TNCs have positive effects on the development of an NEE. Your second point will also be positive. Then your third point will be a negative. So 2 pluses and a minus, back to primary school days of 2 stars and a wish. So you put your 2 positive statements, and then we have our however. So 2 for, 1 against. So what I want you to do now, finish that template. The key thing I want uploaded from this lesson, by all means upload all your notes, all your answers, and I'll comment and feedback on that. But what I'm really looking for is those 2 extra point evidence, explanation and links. So if you upload anything at all, I want it to be those, please. Thank you very much. And if you want to drop me a message on Show My Homework, I'll be sitting waiting and will respond as quickly as I can. Thank you very much. Bye bye.